Once you learn how to die, you learn how to live. That quote essentially encapsulates all of the life lessons in Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. And today we're going to dive into how this amazing book can teach us how to live more fulfilling lives starting right now. So the book is essentially about a dying professor, Morrie Schwartz. He's diagnosed with ALS, and he reconnects with a former student, Mitch Albom, the author, and they talk about all of life, essentially. I mean, they cover lessons on marriage, society, death, you name it. Anything that is involving the human condition, they talk about over the course of Morrie's degeneration with the disease. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that this is my favorite book. This is the book that means the most, to me. I first read it when I was in middle school or high school, and I liked it so much that I took it home with me. This is the actual book from my high school that I stole. But it's one of those books that if you ever felt like you're just going through the motions in life and you're missing out on something deeper, you're missing out on something bigger, then this is for you. And this is what we're going to talk about today in this video. And so by the end of this video, I hope that you will be able to walk away with life lessons and practical advice so that you can embrace the world around you and live a more fulfilling life right now. Lesson number 1, embrace death to appreciate life. Throughout the book, Morrie talks about how we as humans and as a culture really see ourselves as being separate from death. We don't see it as a part of nature and a part of ourselves as something that is happening in real time. And we need to embrace our mortality in order to help us prioritize what's truly important in our lives. So take a moment to reflect on what's really important in your life. Recently, I dealt with the death of a family member. Someone else had a pretty major surgery early this year. It's part of why I was taking a break from YouTube for so long, and really just taking the time to process that and be present with my family and the people around me when it mattered. Because I was in such close proximity to this death, I was really getting a firsthand look at what was important in life. If you're struggling right now to kind of wrap your head around this concept of thinking about what's important to you, then maybe try practicing daily gratitude, saying to yourself in the mirror what you're grateful for, or practicing like a daily journal. There are a lot of prompts online that can get you started, and just writing things down, right? Reminding yourself each day what you're grateful for, or what you might do differently if today were your last day on earth, right? That is one way to understand that you are a part of this process of life and death, and how you can start adjusting your brain to see yourself as part of that cycle and just notice the world around you a little more closely in your day-to-day. Lesson number 2, prioritize relationships over material success. Something that was apparent is right in the beginning of the book is the author, Mitch Albom, became someone who was chasing status and career and just going through the motions in life and not prioritizing the people in his life so much, just prioritizing getting to the next step or the next stage in life. When Morrie and Mitch talk, Morrie tells him that these things that he's chasing are not the important things in life. What is important is to give out love and let love be given to you in return. And love doesn't always mean romantic, right? Love means just relationships, emotion, feelings, sharing yourself with someone platonic or romantic. Our world glorifies hustle culture, and that makes it easy to forget where true fulfillment comes from. It's good to feel fulfillment from your career. It's good to feel fulfillment from the things that you accomplish. But when you think about your life in terms of living and dying, right? You probably are going to think about feeling more fulfilled in your relationships with your friends and more fulfilled in your relationship with your siblings if you have them, or your parents, or anyone that you consider your family. I definitely prioritized work and hustle culture over relationships in the past, and that caused a lot of strain for me. And I am working on not doing that so much right now. I read this book probably once a year to try and help me remind myself and get my head into that space, right? Because it's really easy to forget that and lose yourself in all of the work that you give yourself or are given by other people. One actionable thing that you can do with that, right, is that you can schedule intentional time with family and friends, right? It's really easy to set a reminder on your phone to call your grandma, call your mom, call your best friend, call whoever is important to you, right? And then just make sure that you are present in that conversation. Make sure that you don't have distractions going on around you. Make sure that you can pay attention and ask meaningful questions to them and give them the time that your relationship with them deserves. Lesson number 3, define your own success. Thinking about culture again, Morrie urges people to define what success means for them and not let the culture dictate what success actually is. For you, that could be financial. It could also be emotional success. A lot of people chase the societal expectation of what is successful and then end up realizing that they feel hollow, or you feel empty inside still, at least. That may not be what you genuinely want in your heart. I know for me, going to college, getting a job, living in the city, I thought that is what defined success for me. And I've come to terms in like the last year with that is not how I want success to be defined for me. It costs a lot of money, it costs a lot of time, and a lot of energy. I'm working on redefining that for myself at this current stage in my life. It's part of why I'm doing this YouTube channel. So something that you can do with that is you can set goals that align with those values. Write down what those values are to you. What do you value? Set goals, set actionable items. Give yourself a system for achieving those successes in life the same way you would give yourself goals and metrics to achieve financial or any other kind of success. Lesson number 4, live in the present. I know to some people this may sound kind of half-baked or like really obvious, no duh, like no shit Sherlock type of situation. Live in the present. You hear that all the time. Try and focus on what is right in front of you. Try and be open to receiving the world. Be open to yourself. Feel your emotions. Be present in your body. Be present in your environment. Be present in your conversations and your relationships like we've talked about. In this world of social media and the attention economy, where you direct that energy and attention is valuable. So it's really worth thinking about yourself in terms of giving that value back to yourself, giving that value back to your life and your own existence. I mean, that's why I took a break from everything that I was doing, because I needed to be present in my life for the shit that I was going through and am still currently going through, so that I could feel it and I could allow myself to understand and grow and begin to heal from it. And if this sounds impossible to you, don't worry, it's not. You can start simple in mindfulness, right? You start with deep breathing. You start with simple guided meditations. You can put on a YouTube video and just flip your phone over and just listen to the audio. I'm sure Spotify has some guided meditations on there too. You can go for a walk and leave your headphones at home and just be present in your walk and see if maybe you notice something in your neighborhood that you've never noticed before. It doesn't have to be this massive change. It doesn't have to become like a habit that you commit a certain amount of days and time to. But if you're ever starting to feel like outside of yourself, or if you're ever starting to feel like you're just overwhelmed or unsure what to do with yourself, just take a moment. Just take a few moments to deep breathe when you're feeling that way. Take a few moments to just quiet your mind or go outside, and I promise you will start to feel better. That is like a natural dopamine, whatever chemical release, and you'll start doing it more often if it feels good when you do it just once. And the fifth and final lesson for this video is going to be give back and find a purpose. Morrie taught that giving back, helping people, and finding purpose, finding reason beyond yourself in the service of others is one of the great ways to give meaning to your life right now. By helping someone else, you're not only improving their circumstance, you're not only improving like their mood, but you're doing it for yourself too. We're so removed from community, we're so removed from just interacting with other people in our day-to-day. I live in one of the biggest cities in the world, and I barely interact with my neighbors just because of how our culture is structured. That can feel extremely isolating. So if you can find the time to do one small thing for someone else this week, whether that is helping your elderly neighbor bringing their trash cans, shovel their driveway, or listen to someone who seems like they're having a bad day. Something as simple as that can make a huge difference. It can build a connection between you and someone else that you might be missing that you might not have had otherwise. It doesn't have to be this grand, massive thing. Volunteering is great if there are easily accessible opportunities to volunteer around you. Anytime that I've gone and volunteered with like donating food or just like helping people out, I've done toy drives in the past, like that shit always feels amazing. It gives you the warm and fuzzies and you feel like you're doing something for the greater good and not just in service of yourself. If you're sitting here just thinking like, yeah, no shit, like this all makes sense, great. Then you understand the concepts of how to live a more fulfilling life. Now you just have to take those baby steps to do it. If you're one of those people that thinks life is a series of habits, start those habits now so that you're not on your deathbed reflecting on this later on in life. And I'm sorry if that sounds harsh, but that's kind of like the whole premise of this book. This is a man who was dying slowly and was immobile for most of it because he had ALS. At the end, when Mitch asks him what he would do if he was better tomorrow, Morrie says that he would hang out with his friends, have great conversations, eat food, and go for a walk in a garden. A man dying just wants the simple pleasures in life. And it'd be foolish of us not to hear that, not to listen to that, and make those changes in our lives now while we still can. So, in conclusion, embrace mortality, prioritize relationships, define your own success, be present, and give back and find purpose. This book is a reminder that living a more fulfilling life is not about grand gestures and having more. It is about the little things we do every day that make a difference in our heart, in our soul, and whatever you believe makes you a human. And so I'm going to end on a quote from the book. Devote yourself to loving others, devote yourself to your community around you, and devote yourself to creating something that gives you purpose and meaning. I encourage you all to take Morrie's advice to heart so that we can all start living a more fulfilling life now before it's too late for us later on. All right, and that is the end of the video. Comment down below if, this resonated with you at all, or let me know if I sound like a huge asshole up here and maybe I won't make a video like this ever again. Either way, if you're watching, I appreciate you. I hope that everything is going well, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.